It's Crossover Thursday here on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm John, the host of Locked On Jets, along with Sayer, the co-host of Locked On Broncos. Sayer, what are your keys to victory for the Broncos in this Week 4 game?
Well, I'm excited. I think the keys to victory for the Broncos in this game against the Jets, number one, be the better running team in this game, which is easier said than done. Number two, keep on holding on to the ball. Don't turn the ball over, especially early in this game. And number three, force turnovers defensively. I said the same thing last week, John, when the Broncos went to Tampa Bay. You go on the road against a tough team with a good quarterback that can run the ball or that has playmakers on offense that can beat you. You need to make sure that you are turning the ball over defensively. And the Broncos, like I said, they've gotten home with the quarterbacks they've played. They've gotten really good pass rush, high pass rush win rate all year. I said it last week to James when we were talking about the Bucs. I'm like, get to Baker Mayfield and force him to make some bad decisions early on in the game. He did exactly that through an interception on the second possession, and it helped the Broncos get out to a 14-0 road lead, and that defense pins its ears back all game long. If the Broncos can do that this week, get to a point where, man, you force an early turnover or you force a couple of 3-and-outs early on in this game, you have to put your foot on the gas as an offense and make sure that you're taking advantage of what your defense is giving you out there. You cannot be going like we saw against Seattle. Bo Nix throwing untimely as if there's ever a timely interception, right? You throw a couple of interceptions, one in the red zone. That's not going to help you win on the road. You got to make sure you're taking care of the football. And I feel like, unfortunately, that, the keys to victory, they can be so basic, right? But it's like, if your team's not doing the basic things well, you want to see that repeatedly over and over again. Now that we saw the Broncos do it against the Bucs, can they do it again here in Week 4?
In your third key speaks to me because that Week 2 game the Jets played against Tennessee, one of the big reasons that they won the game was Will Levis had some really bad turnovers, including one play, which I talk about this like almost every day on Locked On Jets because I still can't believe it. Like he literally rolled the ball to the Jets. Like he was being tackled.
Yeah.
He just rolled the ball to the Jets player. I've never seen any. I've seen ridiculous play after ridiculous play by young Jets quarterbacks over the last 15 years, but I've never seen anything like that.
Will Levis is a little unhinged, isn't he? I kind of like watching it. So it's unpredictable watching him. I like it.
Yeah, something exciting is going to happen. It could be good or bad, but something exciting is always going to happen
when
you're watching him play. So I have three keys to victories for the Jets. One is, I think this worries me because I'm depending on Nathaniel Hackett to scheme something up here. But number one is I think the Jets need to figure out a way to get Garrett Wilson away from Patrick Surtain. Last couple of years, I think this is a matchup Wilson struggled with. I think Surtain his strengths match up well against Garrett Wilson, the things Garrett Wilson doesn't do so well. So I'd like to see the Jets try and, use their formations, bunch things up, create traffic, maybe get Garrett Wilson on the move, in motion, try and stick him in the slot, figure out ways to free him up because I think that's a tough matchup for him stylistically. Number two, I'll elaborate on something you talked about. You talked about the Broncos pass rush. Give Olu Fashanu extra help. Olu Fashanu is making his first career start. He was the 11th overall pick this year. Started the season as the swing tackle for the Jets. Now Morgan Moses is out. He suffered an injury last week against New England. So the rookie's in there. And fortunately for the Jets on the other side, they have a guy who's as good of a tackle as we've seen in his generation in Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith's not a guy who needs a lot of help. He's playing at a really high level through the first couple of weeks for the Jets, which means you can give – I always feel like you can give one of your two tackles help. And Fashanu is the guy the Jets are going to need to give help in this one. And then my third key for the Jets is throw different looks at Bo Nix. The Jets normally schematically, they're not a team that tries to surprise you. They're a team that is kind of, this is what we do, and we think we can out execute you. That changed a little bit last week against the Patriots. And Patriots are kind of a unique team because they're so focused on the run. But Jets are going up against a rookie quarterback this week. And look, Bo Nix is the most experienced rookie quarterback that's ever played in the NFL, 60 career starts in college. But I still think, no matter how many games you played in college, there are defensive concepts you haven't seen. And as we talked about, sometimes when you get a rookie quarterback early in the season, that's the time to take advantage. You get a rookie, sometimes even the best rookie quarterbacks, you get to November, December, they start to get comfortable with some of the more complex defensive looks they get. But we're still early enough in the season that maybe you can throw something at Bo Nix he hasn't seen before and force one of those big mistakes.
How about this gauntlet for his first 4 games, right? Mike McDonald calling plays for the Seattle Seahawks defense, then Mike Tomlin for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Terrell Austin obviously is there as well, and then Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers in week 3. And now you get obviously Robert Saleh and the Jets there. So it's a gauntlet for a rookie quarterback to go through, and you're absolutely right. Giving him those kind of looks is going to make it very interesting. Like, how much does he press the ball? Can the Jets kind of rattle him early, like we kind of saw? I mean, maybe first game jitters, but he was rattled a little bit early on against Seattle and was not really pulling the trigger on the passes deeper down the field. Can they rattle him a little bit early on in this game? Can you get to Bo Nix, who's really good at avoiding pressure and not taking unnecessary sacks, but he's kind of shown that he might put the ball in harm's way to avoid the sack a little bit this year. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's a tough gauntlet for any quarterback to go through, much less a guy making his first 4 starts in the league.